Welcome to the Fix This First podcast. I'm Tracy, and there's Karen, and we have an amazing guest today. April, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you taking some time to chat, and hopefully, we're going to help you fix something first. So let's start with who you are, kind of what your industry is, and sometimes geography matters. So kind of maybe where you are, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation. So I'm located in Delaware, so I'm on the East Coast, and I have about 20 plus years of experience in the talent acquisition space. And so it's not only talent acquisitions, a part of it is business acquisition as well. And so what I've done is in the last few years, I've taken those skills in talent acquisition and pivoted those to real estate. And so we started our real estate journey actually purchasing 3 lots of land in Portugal. It didn't even start here in the US. So we're building on 3 lots of land that's active construction. Well, it's active happening now. And then we also have another investment property in Portugal. But more recently, we've completed a few fix and flips. And so those have been exciting, kind of unique. One on the luxury side, one on the starter home side, mentioning the last two. And so that's kind of where we're at.
Awesome. Are you planning to live in Portugal?
Some of the time.
Yes. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm part-time New Hampshire, part-time Charlotte, which is not as fancy as part-time Delaware, part-time Portugal.
Yeah.
Why Portugal though, April? Why there?
Well, actually, it's my brother who, sparked the inspiration to check out Portugal because he is an investment banker and then also like a fractional interim CFO. So if companies have at least $5 million or more in funding, they usually bring him in to help go to market and do all the things. Well, about 7 years ago, one of the projects that he's working on or worked on said they asked him to go to London, and he said, "There's no way that I'm moving to London," because he lived near the beach in San Diego and he's a surfer. And he's like, "I can only go where there's waves. Portugal has waves. That's the same time zone. So I will just help you in London from Portugal." And so that's how that went down. And so he originally found his property first. And then the reason that we acquired the 3 lots of land, they're actually the neighboring 3 lots of land to my brother, because the same guy owned the house and the land, and he wasn't ready to sell the land at the time my brother bought the house. And he said, "Well, if I buy this, I'd like to have first right of refusal to purchase that land, because if anybody builds on it, it'll impact, my beach and my ocean view." And so then a couple years later, he was ready to do that. My brother asked me if I wanted to, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how that happened.
Great story. Oh my goodness. I love the sort of the global mobility of, of just being able to pick up and run a business from anywhere. And I'm totally with him. Who would want to be in London when you could be in Portugal? Absolutely. Why would you want to do that when you by the beach? So well done him. Excellent.
I know. And Karen, that's kind of Karen's specialty in the UK is fractional. She teaches people how to become fractional. Contractors is what they call them, but we would consider them consultants, right? And so anyway, so interesting, kind of gone full circle. Okay, so tell me what you're thinking. Like, what if you could pick one thing to fix in your business or to get like just some headway in, what would it be? Tell me about anything you think that would be something that would move the dial for you.
I would say it would be getting my back office together is probably the biggest pain point for me. One of them is just the administrative burden that goes along with fixing and flipping. I do it and I do it well, but I would much rather chew on tinfoil than keep track of all the things, right? I just know it's just not for me, but I do it because it's necessary and it's important. And then the other thing is, I'd say getting my funnels together, and actually I've made some traction and some progress there. So it's like I have all these visions and all these ideas, and it's just like I need the person to put the thing together so I can turn on the switch. knowledge, right? It's not a matter of capability, it's a matter of capacity, because my W-2, because I still have that, I work for a global management consulting firm. So it's very high volume, it's very fast paced. And so we're a boutique firm that is, highly specialized. So it changes a lot, and that's really demanding on me, and I have to focus on that. So if I can get these other things, because in the, in the evenings and the weekends and in the cracks of time when I have availability to do these things, it's much easier. Like, my time is better spent on the phone. So I'm a closer. I don't have, because I'm used to engaging passive talent. The jobs that I hire people for, they're not applying to job postings. I have to hunt them and find them and engage them. Typically a thought leader or a keynote speaker somewhere. And so I have to get creative with my engagement strategy. So I just use that to engage agents and sellers. And it's really fun to do. So if I can just do a lot of that, just acquire. And then my husband and my 20-year-old sons, we have 5 kids, and 3 of my kids participate in the business with us. And so my husband and my 20-year-old, they're the ones that go out, they walk the property, give me an idea about what the cost might be to rehab it. And then I use that to actually close it and get the deal closed. And then I on the design piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh my gosh, we have so much synergy in this, because Karen's kids work in her business as well. All of them, I've had businesses for like 18 years, but none of mine want anything to do with my businesses. So lucky you guys, most of the time, although I've fired mine a few times. So that's a whole other thing. Okay. So I think, you know what? And tell me if I'm like kind of on the same page. And you have your W-2, which is like you have a full-time, really demanding job, but that you enjoy and that you're good at. But then you have all these other things. And so often in business, we're doing whatever has to get done, right? So like I'm high visionary, but very high integrator as well. Why? Because I have to take care of those things. Otherwise they don't get done. Right. And I'm not a place where I could hire somebody to just say, hey, I don't have my own Molly. Right. Not yet, but, right. Wouldn't that be lovely? Like to just be able to generate, and just hand it over and know it's going to go from start to finish. Right. Doesn't that sound like a lovely dream?
Really,
That's Karen.
really.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm same as you, April. I've got my own management consulting business, and I've got my own private corporate clients. So I'm currently running 3 clients, big organizations. I run my own business that gets consulting contracts for other people within my organization. And then I train people to be able to do this. So I am like super maxed out. Okay. And up until about 2 months ago, I was doing what you would. I'm also an accountant. Okay. So I like the numbers side of things. So spreadsheets, I can go down a rabbit hole with spreadsheets and start to do modeling and all that kind of stuff. And it got to the stage where I just knew I couldn't do it. One, I didn't want to do it anymore. I knew I needed more time. My kids are a bit older now, but they both work in the business. And I just wanted more time to be able to potter or just to do stuff that wasn't business. So what I did is I automated everything in the background. I've literally now I get alerts on my phone every single day that tell me the things. So by exception management, you'll know all of these techniques, where you literally just get told what you need to look at. And that's because we've put all of the processes in place. We've put all of the automation in place. And I started that journey literally by just being very forensic with where I was spending my time. So just do like a calendar audit or a diary audit, and just literally go over a 2-week period. Where am I spending my time that's adding either no value or it's costing me money because you're better spent on the phone? And that was the one thing that changed I literally diarized everything for 2 to 3 weeks and thought, okay, I can now get myself a day back a week. And then it became 2 days, and then it became 3 days. So I've been there. That's exactly what you need to do.
I love that.
So, and
Go ahead.
You go, April. Go ahead.
No, the calendar is super powerful, and I have to totally agree with you. What's funny is in my day job, one of the things that I do, and kind of like you, Tracy, visionary integrator, but I'm probably less of an integrator. I do it out of necessity because it needs to get done, because I'm like, let's accomplish things. And so in my day job, since like 2021, I've been implementing AI to automate things, right? Like for scheduling or this or that. And so, but I do it in my W-2. But then when it comes to switch gears into real estate, it's like I clearly can grasp the concepts, right? And I can clearly do it, but it is a whole nother way of doing things. And that's where I struggle, because I'm like, this is weighing me down. And the calendar is so powerful. And I just have to be really diligent with it and not allow any, calendar creep, not instead of self creep, just allow things to creep in and protect my time.
No, you absolutely do. And we see, it sounds like we've got similar backgrounds. I work the equivalent of your W-2. But also I've outsourced a lot of that. So I brought one of my fractional COOs who I trained up in. So she's paid me to train her up to become a fractional COO. And I said, okay, here's like real life case study me. Okay. I've given you the theory. Now apply the practice to me. And oh my God, she nailed it. She was previously a COO of a really big organization, but she got fed up with corporate life. So she wanted to come back in and sort of watch scale ups and startups really sort of progress and get the best practices, the foundations. So you're familiar with the fractional model. Maybe you just need to engage somebody to come in, have the conversation with you, and then take all of that pressure off you and make it happen. And then hand back to you what she handed back to me, the dashboard that's on my phone that just tells me what I really need to be thinking about.
Yeah.
I think that sounds
Because
lovely.
what if it was something like, because this is not your passion. Like, it's a passion project because you want it off your plate, but not a passion as like, it's not going to be as good as somebody who loves doing that. Right. And they're going to see things like you're probably really high functioning on both ends, right? And like clearly you're very successful. And like even myself, like I can figure out things, but it's not my passion. I just want to be done. So I'm rushing through everything, trying to get to the part I want to do. Right. But what if you were able, even just, you're familiar with fractional. What if you could find a person that just wanted to come in, you paid them a little bit just to test, right? You dating first. It's a JV, right? Like, let's try it for a few months. Can you help me just gain back a couple hours of my time? Because, right, the time diary, you take a little bit and then it starts to snowball, right? Oh, gosh, I just bought myself an hour a week. Woo, what am I going to do with it? You know?
Yeah, I have hired my niece. So she's my part-time executive assistant, and she's really good with tech. And I show her, how to do something like in Go High Level, and she comes back and shows me how to do it better, because she's just, she's like 22, she's tech savvy. And I eventually want to evolve to getting her to helping me with my social media. So that's another pain point too. So my YouTube is a huge focus now. We're in a cohort, and I've been meeting just a group of like 11 of us that are focusing on it. And I'm getting those things out. Like we're paired with editors, and we just kind of send our video off, and then they send it back, and then we just post it, right? We're not doing the things. And I engaged her to help me. And I am having her help me with my funnels. And I'm like, this is what I need. Here are 3 samples. Go do the thing and bring it back. Even though she's really great and super sharp, I still have to spend a significant amount of time, showing her the real estate piece, right? Because it's not that people don't have the capabilities. It's closing that gap between the knowledge around real estate and like what makes sense and what lands well, what hits well, and then also what hits well for your personal brand. And I feel like there's no way to have that part done for you. Like, I wanted it done for me, but I'm like, I still have to spend that time saying, this is me, this is my brand, this is my brand voice. And I've even trained a GPT assistant on me and my brand as a YouTube architect and a script writer, even to help her. Like, this is me and this is how it sounds. And I'm constantly refining that, but I'm still just in that space to where I'm still like in it. And eventually I'm hoping there's a tipping point to where, there is a ramp up time. So I haven't gone over the other edge yet.
I think observations there, because I've got lots of younger people working with me as well. And again, very, very capable. But they don't have the experience, that the life experience, even that sort of spidey sense that goes, oh, hold on a second. I know in isolation that makes sense, and in isolation that makes sense, but when you put it together, actually, does it make sense? Or actually, if I follow a SOP literally, yes, that's a plus. We've done it, but actually, something came out the woodwork as you were following that through, and you didn't follow that up, and just because it wasn't written down. So it's that type of thing. What I found was that this fractional COO that I worked with, she was more of a mature lady, and has got the real world, the life experiences. She's made all of her mistakes years ago, and all the mistakes at the 20, and that coaching piece. So I brought her in, and she buddied up with one of my younger team members. And it was just that sort of, because the mentoring, the coaching, you don't get that anymore because everybody works remotely. Okay. It's that, when you used to turn up into an office and you'd sit there and you would have that sort of apprenticeship, some mentorship, that type of thing, where you just go for a coffee and they'd have a conversation, and it wouldn't be training. It would be more like osmosis. It was just that I'm just filling you with all my experiences. That's where the generational thing comes in, where we've got to spend time with our younger adults to be able to share all of our life experiences. So that was an added benefit of having this lady that came into my business. Yes, she understood me. Yes, she was more like my tone of voice. And I'd done brand guides, I'd done GPTs, I'd done everything that you had done. She stitched them together. And as my social media person was drafting copy or building LinkedIn posts or creating adverts, they would go over it and she'd go, well, this is what I would do. I would just tweak that word there. And do you know why I've done that? Because actually, when Karen said this last week, that will resonate more because it's more congruent with what she was saying and all of these things. And it only took 6 months. And I just felt such relief, because I was like, oh my God, somebody else is having that conversation now. I don't need to be the only grown up in the room. And I'm not trying to diminish, but it was literally, there's another grown up in the room that can just take this off me. Maybe it's worth a book.
Yeah, that business maturity for sure carries a lot of weight in this.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and we just started like a month ago, right? So it is going to take some time, because and then I'm going back and forth, like, should I just because I have so much content in my phone. There's so much, the things that we do, the property tours, the days with Pace, the events, all the things that we do. And it's a matter of just organizing it by event. And that's what I was going to do. Just organize it by event and say, use this as a swipe file, come up with some cool posts. Just, you get my voice, just get it out. Right. I don't have any problem recording. I don't have any problem creating the content. I have a problem getting the content out.
So distribution.
Right? Yeah. So I'm like, maybe I'll start with that. I don't know.
Well, but also, I mean, when we talk about Pace, he's probably one of the most prolific content people, right? He's just forever doing it on his phone. He has the 2 phones. He's like sharing one to the other. He's posting, and he's doing so much of his own posting. It could be that you have a certain, it may be that for now, that's your piece, right? Because it's your voice and it's still new enough that you have to figure out what's going to work, what's not. You can pick one platform, put it all there, and then they can redistribute. They could chop it up. They could do, but then it's not, because it's already, they're taking what you put together that represents you, that you've chosen, and then redistributing, versus taking what you've had and kind of putting it together for you. It may take a little while for them to get who you are, right? And then you can also feed that into a GPT so it learns more and more and more. Like, I'm just fascinated with ChatGPT, even though I've had a few GPTs. I own Candy Store, so it's not like as prolific for me, but it just remembers. Like, I'll say, oh, I want to write a post about lead gen, right? And I'm doing lead gen for local businesses and yada, yada. And it remembered and pulled in all this data from all my other posts. Like, that's not a GPT. That's just the basic prompt. So it's just getting faster and faster and faster. And what is painful now, in 2 months, could not be painful at all. It could just be so easy. right? So then we build up, I think, who did we talk to last week? Chris. He was talking about bringing in a whole team and this and that. And I said, just keep in mind, like everything you're building right now, especially for help in running the business, in 2 months could be completely obsolete. And then you've spent all this time, money, and energy in a place that's not going to serve you long term because it's going to be gone. So that's just another little caveat.
And I shared last week, didn't I, that I've built agents, but I've actually given them a persona. Okay, so I've actually created a virtual agent who reads my scripts. And the benefit of having that, because yes, I've got family members in the business and I've got other people that I outsource things to, but the agents do things perfect every time. They don't take comfort breaks. They don't take holidays. They work 24/7. And once you've trained them well, they just work. Okay. So most of my basic activity is now run by agents. And again, that feeds into the dashboard. Okay. So I know how many times these agents have gone out on what platform and what the response has been, what's the level of engagement, if we've had any emails, what's the attribution across all of those different channels. So one agent with a script from me distributes across multiple platforms, and then I get the information back that tells me which one's performing best. And that's a virtual persona in front of a GPT.
Oh, I love that. I need that. Whatever you're referring to, I need that because I also am super ambitious in the workshop pursuit also because I have, as you know, Pace has said, do your workshops. So I have a 2-day workshop for how to pitch your deal so it gets funded and how to be a borrower that lenders love, because Bo invited me to, because Pace was my partner on the home that we dispositioned in December. And so he was like, this is a skill that's lost on people. A lot of times people don't know how to present their stuff. And not that I was all real estate savvy with decks or anything. It was just, I'm familiar. I've been in so many sales scenarios where pitches have gone well, they've not gone well. And so I just applied that to real estate and Bo really liked it. And so we said we should do a semester on that. So it's, how to pitch to your deal and then also how to be a borrower. Lenders love it because they love the way that I kept them updated each week because I did it weekly. And he's like, people just don't normally do that. And I was like, well, I don't know how happy people are going to be going from monthly updates to weekly updates like I did. But anyway, the framework's there. So that's one of the workshops. And then the other one is a workshop for, there's a lot of people like newbies in real estate who'd like to invest in Portugal. There's a lot of people here in the US when they hear that I have real estate in Portugal and I'm continuing to invest there. We have a restaurant there, but then we also have opened a business that's a real estate business because you can just open up a company and say, yeah, I'm a real estate broker. And Portugal's like, cool. So, and that's what we did. So here we are. And so there's a US one that I'm going back and forth if it's going to be 1 day or 2 days, but whatever they spend on that price can go towards the cost of the September retreat, which is an immersion retreat. So it's like a scouting trip / immersion retreat. It's 7 nights, 8 days. We already have the hotel, the car, like everything's the framework of it is in place. And I have an event planner for that. It's another Owners Club member who volunteered to help me, which is amazing. And then I have my niece, who's my executive assistant. She is in Portugal and she now speaks Portuguese fluently because she went to school and she's graduated. So she's also going to evolve to be my international transaction coordinator. And so because she can speak Portuguese so well and because, speaks English because she's from the US, she's going to evolve into that role. And she's just right now learning alongside all of the things that we're needing to do. All of the things do not move fast in Portugal. It is literally the polar opposite as what you would expect here. So my number one tip for people, and I'm sure Karen, you are familiar with that. My number one tip is you have to have strategic patience. Like you have to be super patient because it takes a really long time. Like they're just closed. Like I went to pay my property tax and they're like, we're just closed for the rest of the week. It's not a holiday. We're just closed.
And come July and August, everything moves super, super slow. Yeah.
Nothing's happening. You're not allowed to do any construction. So where we have our restaurant is right in Edisera in this little surf village, and zero construction is allowed in the village during the summer. Like you're not allowed to do anything. You can't update or fix anything. So if something were, unless it's dangerous, but if you wanted to do like a refresh, that's a no.
Yeah. So listen, April, based on what you've shared and based on my understanding of what you really need to do in the background, all your back office things, and the fact that your niece sounds amazing, she's based in location, she can speak the language, and you need to be training her to do up and out. Okay, you need to be. She doesn't need to do the back office stuff. Yes, she needs an appreciation of it, but I think you've got to get a plan B in place there, because in order to really rapidly scale and achieve the ambition that you've clearly got, you need your niece to do more like you, upwards and outwards. So really consider having somebody come in and help you with that diary audit, that calendar audit, understanding exactly what is your passion, and you're quite happy to stick with to the very end until you are comfortable at that hands over. What's the stuff that you really don't like doing, and how much time would that give you back? And then figure out whether that's an AI assistant, that you put a persona in front of them. I've now got a team of 150 people. I've got 3 humans and 147 AI.
Oh, I love it.
Honestly, 3 humans, that runs my whole business, and the rest of them are agents. And some agents talk to each other, others just literally do the same task repetitively. It's absolutely the way to free up your time so you and your niece can go off and do the bits that you really like to do.
Yes. I love that.
There you go.
That's
Okay.
Love it, Karen. I think
you.
yeah, the diary is the key. Just that, Pace is talking about what kicks it off, what starts the thing, right?
Yeah.
To change the lead, right? What is that thing? And I think it's the time diary. It's just tracking. Because then once when it's laid out, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be doing that. I don't need to be doing that. Even if you laid it out and put it into ChatGPT, tell me the 10 things I could automate, and it will tell you what to do.
Yeah.
I went old school. I printed it off and used highlighters, and everywhere it's so powerful when you see visually all of that red space that actually it's costing me money for me to do that. And as I say, I'm an accountant and I really like playing with numbers and spreadsheets and stuff, but I was saying, oh my gosh, how many days a week do I dip out of the work to just go play with a spreadsheet? I've got to stop doing that. That is just not helping even though I quite like doing that, it's just not helping the business at all. So I went old school. I printed it off, and then, but Tracy's right. Stick it into chat, and it will tell you straight away for you.
You could still highlight it and then still upload it. But yes, if the paper makes you happy, Karen, you go for it.
Well, it's a visual. You look at it. When you go down, when you start to do stuff that is not adding value, and you look up, and your calendar on the wall says great big red line, and you go, no, I'm not going to do this. And it's more like a visceral reaction to, oh my God, I've got to stop doing this. So that's the way it worked for me anyway.
And it helps like break your brain from that. And and I feel like I do that sometimes, but then I'll go back. Then I'm just like, well, it just needs to get done. It just needs to get done. And so,
don't you think we all do that even with our children, right? And I mean, take it out of the business realm and be like, oh, my toddler wants to help me do the laundry, right? And it's like, yeah, no, I just want to be done. Thank you. And you just take it back, right? You show them, or they're going to do the dishes, or they're going to dust, or whatever they're doing, right? And we take it back from them because we just need to be done. I think that's true in everybody's life. We just kind of, again, sometimes we just think it's going to save us time and energy and effort, but in the long run, right? We want them to know how to do their own laundry. Right?
Yeah,
and so,
trust me, my 25-year-old son still doesn't do his own laundry. So,
Karen,
I know.
Yeah, my kids started doing it in middle school.
Really?
I can't.
Yeah.
Karen,
it's just so much easier. It really is just so. It's just
it's not easier, Karen. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I hope this was a good answer. I think, and how funny that you two are in similar worlds, right? Like that. So you guys are speaking a language I don't really understand, but the whole corporate. But April, I'd love to connect you because I just submitted my first deal for Deal Maker for my candy. I did it yesterday. I worked all day. Now I know how to be myself, but I'm not polished and fancy, which I think sells in a different way. But anyway, it was a biz op instead of real estate because that's what I know how to do. But anyway, I want to talk to you about that. So
Yeah.
but anyway,
and I think the key is not to be too fancy, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't be too
well, I'm
fancy.
good at that.
Yeah.
Good at what you see is what you get, right?
Yeah,
Karen?
perfect.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
how we get on so well. It really
I know.
is.
That's why she likes me.
Breath
All right. Awesome. Okay. So I think you know what you need to fix first, April.
Thank you. Thank you
Oh,
so
I'm
much.
so-
I really
I'm
appreciate it.
so glad you were able, and I'm so glad we got to meet. And that will I see you at Squad Up?
Oh, yes. I'm going with 11 people. Like, my whole family's coming. So we have 5 kids, and actually every single child touches the business in some
That's
way.
amazing.
Yeah, my daughter-in-law is the PT, my son does the agent outreach.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
You
cool.
got a whole thing set up. I love it. It's amazing. This is fabulous. Karen, I guess you're off for the day. Karen's in the UK, so she's ready for bed probably soon.
5 hours ahead. Yeah, I recruit in the UK, Dubai, Germany, and Canada, and the US. So I recruit in 6 countries too.
Oh
Wow.
my gosh.
Oh, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to follow you. I'll connect with you on LinkedIn and see what you can do because
Yeah.
we're sort of in. Well, we're not. I keep saying we're not in recruitment. Okay, we are in lead gen for fractional consultants. So that's what we do.
Yes.
Awesome.
Well,
Anyway.
and maybe you have somebody that, if you guys connect outside, maybe Karen, in your world, you have somebody who might be somebody, April's Molly, even part-time, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be family. Because as someone, I've had my candy store for 18 years, and I know it's not fancy, but family is hard and wonderful all at the same time, right?
Right.
So
All at the same time, yeah. On that
anyway,
note,
all
shall
right,
we
have
leave
a
it?
great one. Yes,
All
we're
right.
good. We're
Nice to
good.
meet you. Nice to
Thank
meet you.
you. Nice to meet you, Fire.